Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. Another weekend goes by, another 3 points on the board, and the transfer window slams shut. To digest it all, tonight with myself, Robert, is Allbear and GB. How are you, Allbear?
I'm great, pal. How are you two?
I'm alright, mate. I'm alright for a Tuesday. GB, how's yourself?
Very well, mate. Thanks for having me on tonight to talk about all things Glasgow Rangers.
It's good to be on your pair of yous. So, as I said, boys, another weekend's went past. A game at Ibrox against Ross County, and a comfortable win. Allbear, what's your thoughts on Sunday's game?
I enjoyed the first half. I must admit, I did enjoy the first half. Played some really passages, good play, really good play. Enjoyed the goals, obviously. Some people might say they got a bit of luck, but that's it's all part of football, isn't it? So enjoyed that. Enjoyed the passages of play. Second half was a bit muchness. No, I mean, there wasn't much in the second half, to be honest with you. Job done. But overall, it was a good 3 points. Nice and comfortable. No dramas, no injuries, no bookings. What's not to like, mate? Clean sheet.
There was a lot of positives there. I'd agree with that, mate. GB?
Loads of positives. I agree with Albert. It was like champagne and cigars all day, wasn't it? It was just a stroll in the park against Ross County. For us, we like to give them a good doing every now and then. So it's a wonder why we sometimes struggle away from him against them, because they're an awful team. Robert, just all for nothing. I mean, that apart from sometimes the couple of hammer throws that they go up front. That says I think. Personally, we were in second gear all day. That first half, as Albert says, blew them away. And you were thinking it could have been an absolute cricket score by the end of it. But, I mean, I don't know about yous, but Haji, I felt it was like the Haji show again. It's what a difference he's made to the team, by coming back into it. And, by the way, I think he's done Clement a big turn, because before Haji was back in that team, it was like shaky nails throughout that squad. But for some reason, when Haji came back in and Igaman appeared, it seemed to settle that squad down no end. And really happy that he was. He got his 2 goals, but his free kick, I don't know. I think I'm a bit leaning towards Ox last night. What he was saying, it's more an OG, but I suppose you've got to shoot to try and get the goal in the first place.
A beauty. I'm not giving him that. It's a beauty, by the way. Everybody else shoots and it takes deflections and they get the goal. So why shouldn't he get the goal? That's my point of view. But I'll tell you one thing I noticed during the game. I quite fancy and I'm going to keep an eye on him, that Ross County goalkeeper. Quite like that boy. That's the first time I think I've really noticed him. But just a wee side issue, you know what I mean? But I quite like that goalkeeper. I thought he's quite commanding. Aye, all right, he scored 4 goals by him, but he did pull off a couple of good saves, and he was very commanding when he was going up for a ball, especially. Don't know how you feel about
that. I think he's probably a young goalkeeper that you watch Albert in the league. For me, I've seen a few keepers at other clubs that seem to put in a performance, especially against ourselves, where they're making a few good saves. And it does catch the eye, and then you always kind of hear them going to other clubs within the league, whether it be an Aberdeen,
well,
maybe, for example.
I think he's on loan for Sheffield Wednesday, somebody was telling
me. Sheffield United, mate.
Sheffield United.
What's the rivalry starting in
here? So I think he's German as well. So I like him. I'm going to keep an eye on him. I will keep an eye on him to see what he does, because what I see is a commanding goalkeeper, and I like to look at him. We'll see what happens going forward with him. He might, as you say, he might just be up for the Rangers game, and so many other ones are. and nothing else. But he looks the part. He definitely looks the part.
Aye, just going back to what GB said there, Haji. I'll be honest. I'll hold my hands up. When there was speculation that he might come back into the team, I'll be honest and say that I was one that didn't want him back in, didn't expect him to come back in. I will eat my words and say that he has improved the team dramatically. I think GB's right that he has added something that we've been missing, especially in the final third with his general play, the balls and the vision that he can see and put it through to the striker, whether it be Dessers or Igaman. I think obviously they had the contract situation sorted out. There was rumours that another contract had been put down to him before the end of the window a few weeks ago that he may consider. But I think Albert, GB's right in what he says, that he's had an impact in the squad.
Oh, he definitely is. I mean, there's no doubt about that. He's about, I would reckon, in my opinion, he's about the best number 10 we'll go at. And I know he's not playing there very often, but I think he's a better number 10 than Bayrami, to be honest with you, or Igaman. And I think Igaman shouldn't be playing in that position anyway. But that's another conversation. But I agree. I agree with GB. He's definitely made an impact. He's a football brain. I just like watching the boy in the park, especially if you go to the games and watch him live. You can see him making space. He's superb at making space for himself. He really is. And he's got a football brain. Two-footed. He can see a pass. He's got a shot. He can see he can take a goal. What's not to like about the boy? He's a wee bit slow, but he's always been slow. It's not just now. He's always been that wee bit slow. Having said that, if he had that pace, that bit of pace over 2 yards, he wouldn't be at Rangers, let's be honest. It would be one of the really top European clubs, you know what I mean? He's that good.
GB, one player that Albert mentions there that Haji is keeping out of that position is Bajrami. Is that testament to how well Haji's done since come back into the side, that a 4.3 million signing is not playing his favoured position?
I mean, to be honest, the thing about Haji, he's never, he had that dip in form because he came back for his injury. But that was, again, a moment where he was in and out the team. Now he's came back, he's said the heat down, he's got back to that kind of form that he had just before pre-injury as well. So, for Bajrami to come in the team, I think that boy, he's needing, now they say a player sometimes needs 6 months, he's needing it. He's needing time, and eventually I think we might see, because he's got glimpses of it. He's shown it against Aberdeen and stuff like that, and he showed it against Celtic that he is a decent player, Bajrami. But I just think they know that players that are in front of him, like say Haji, are just more consistent than now. They're making a better impact, and as all Bear says about Haji, see his football brain and stuff like that. See the way, I mean, he took that first goal. I mean, our attackers should be learning for that, how he was alert to that ricochet, you know what I mean, and the tap-in. Whereas I didn't see any of our strikers reacted to it. Granted, Igaman was hardly anywhere near the goalkeeper, but Haji had a feeling that Tierney would hit a shot and there would be something there to pick up on. And then you look at what it says with his second goal, the free kick. I agree with Albert. He's got to hit the shot, and it was good to see Tav step aside as well, because as you go into John Suter's goal, it was Haji that fired in the corner. You know what I mean? So again, it's good that Tav's kind of stepping aside and giving these boys an opportunity, because between Haji and Tierney, they are good at these dead ball situations. So it's, again, I think Bajrami's got a lot today to try and get into that team, but I just think he needs time. But as it stands now, Haji's setting the example. I mean, how many boys would have came back for what was done to him? I mean, with the whole contract situation, many boys would sacrifice what they were due, and sit in the B team and bide their time and come back in with that attitude that he's having. Even at the weekend there, you see the amount of running he was doing, and as Albert says, he's not the fastest, but he just finds a space. He's got an attitude to win. He's desperate to play for the team, and that's as long may it continue. And I really do hope at the end of the season that if he does sign a contract, that continues on with Rangers. You know what I mean? And I hope that he keeps that form up, because what an asset to have. Because there's not many players you can say that you can bring in that keep themselves fit in our squad. And Haji, for some reason, even though he's got a knee rebuilt, he's got that professionalism in him, that he knows how to keep himself fit and he knows how to get impact in a game.
Attitude and application for me, it comes down to the boys' mentality has been spot on. He's had a lot of issues off the park that were well speculated. As you said, he did injury. A lot of talk publicly from his dad, his agent, and he's stuck in the middle. But all he wanted to do was play football, and that's exactly what he's done. I'll just give you his league stats. Now, I know Bajrami plays more in terms of Europe. Obviously, Haji's not part of that squad. That may change when we can add players into the European squad for the knockout phase. But in the league, Bear, Bajrami has 20 match appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist. Haji, 15 appearances, 3 goals, 5 assists.
I mean, it's there to be seen. No, I mean, it's not like you can't see the difference between them. It's there to be seen. To be fair to Bajrami, I think, or Bayrami, as it's not Bajrami, it's Bayrami. To be fair to him, is one thing he's good at. He doesn't get any credit for is making space for other people. He's superb at it, and he's also good at leading the press. He's the one. He's the trigger for the press against that mob across the city. The unmentionables is. He's the one that triggers it, and with McGregor and things like that. And he's done it twice now, and it's worked a treat. So, for that point of view, he does things that he doesn't get recognised for. But if you're just taking it on pure stats, like you've done there, but Haji's the better player. There's no doubt about it. At the moment, he's definitely the better player. I think his best position out with that old Fulham game is on the left. I don't think he's a number 10. I don't think he's got the. I think he's got the vision, but I don't think he's got the range of passing that Haji's got. So I definitely think he's better on the left hand side. I'm not saying he's the best left winger or the best left sided. That 3 we play. I'm not saying that, but he's definitely better there than he is playing at number 10. On my opinion, that is.
GB, where do you think Bajrami's best position would be?
Everybody's saying that he's a 10, but like any time he's played in there, he's not actually lit it up for me, Robert. So I don't know. Like, and to be honest, the best games that I've seen him in is all Bear says out in the left. I've seen him play better when he's been out there, but again, he kind of falls out of the games. And we had that spell where he was working well with Igaman up front when he was playing the left, and then it was again Haji in and then Tierney. Dessers is creeped obviously back into the squad with us, and I don't know if this is because Bajrami's form's dipped, that this is how the kind of the structure of the squad up front's changed a bit. But as you can see, with Bajrami dropping out, then it's kind of, I think it's affected Igaman's position as well, because now Haji's out there, and you've got Igaman kind of playing more as the behind the striker kind of role, and I don't think that suits the wee man. So for in a sense, we need Bajrami to get his form back, so we can put him back out in the left and bring Igaman back into the role that he was flourishing on. So I don't know the answer, Robert. I think the says the boy, as I've said, he needs time. But to be honest, the rest of this season in the league, he's got the time to bed himself in. It's more the European games we need to try and he needs to kind of contribute to. I mean, it's there's money to be made there still this season.
Absolutely. Bear, you want to come back in there?
I agree with the one about Igaman. He's playing out of position, mate, to accommodate Dessers. That's a fact. And it's not doing him any favours because he doesn't like it. You can see it. Does not like it. He's a centre forward, the boy. That's what he is. My opinion, he should be playing what he's good at. And if Dessers are going to put Dessers into the team, Dessers should be in the position that Igaman's in and let him supply to Igaman. No other way about it. It's and Dessers has scored a couple of good goals. No, I mean, more than a couple of goals, a few good goals. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm not criticising Dessers for that. But I'm criticising the manager for you're basically playing Igaman out of form. That's what you're going to end up doing. You're going to put him right out of form. And Sunday's game, I thought he was pretty poor. He's done a couple of nice things, but I thought he was pretty poor because you see, he doesn't like it. He's a centre forward. He wants fed the ball, and he wants fed the ball around the area. He's got a tendency when he plays centre forward to drift out to the left, but that's just inexperience. I think Lamont's been working on that when he's playing centre forward, saying stay between the posts. Don't bother coming out of the left-hand side. But I like Eggman. I think Eggman and Danilo are better players than Dessers. But Dessers can score the spectacular goals. But you never know. As we keep saying about him, he's an enigma. He does strange things. But if you're wanting the forward line, I like Danilo and Eggman up there. I think they play better. I think they understand each other, and the two of them can play football. Yeah. But that's just getting off subject, I suppose. But we're talking about Haji. Haji is the better number 10 as far as. And very rarely actually plays number. He drifts into it now and again during games. He doesn't actually start as number 10, Haji. But you can see he wants to play there because he always sort of drifts into it. No forgetting the role he's supposed to be playing. And that's why Clement did not like your man Cantwell. Because he just wanted to play one role in one way, and he didn't want to didn't want to contribute to the rest of the team. He just wanted it to play his way, which is fine and dandy if you're winning all the games and you're winning trophies. That's great. But if you're no, then you come back into the criticism for the manager saying, "I want you to do this." So Haji is a true professional. I like the boy. I like his attitude. I like everything about the boy. He doesn't let anything get him down, and he stays focused on his own performances and on what's happening to him. But it'll come down to money with Haji, as it always does with these players. But Niels Coppin's already told you, we can't stop acting like a Premier League club because we're not a Premier League club. And if Haji knows his worth, and his dad certainly knows his worth, so if a case of if he doesn't get what he's demanding or asking for, that's a better way of putting it, asking for, I think he'll be away in summer.
I don't disagree with in your points. I think Haji is the more technical, better player than Bajrami, but I think we're probably basing that on what we've seen from Haji past seasons as well as this season.
Yeah.
So GB says we've not seen Bajrami at his best, probably not in his best position either, but time will tell between now and the end of the season how much an impact he has, and I think the European games are certainly one that he does need to improve on. Just before we put Sunday aside, the other positive on Sunday was John Souttar started, got a good 60 minutes, and we also saw the first glimpse of Rafael Fernandez. Good to see Souttar back, GB.
Brilliant, aye. Settled and assured, Robert, at the back. I mean, he's a kind of no-nonsense defender. He's got that kind of bit of bomb scaring him at times, but I'm hoping as time goes on in the Rangers team that, like I says, there's an understanding of tactics and what Clement wants, and like I says, maybe can read some of them out. The goal again, the header he scored, he's got that in his locker. He's good at set plays, John Souttar. He had that one and he scored against Celtic as well. So I mean, he's definitely a guy that can contribute to the squad. And I think that the manager managed him well throughout the game in the sense he took him off, didn't press him too hard. And like I says, it was an easy enough game for him to bed back into. So a perfect day for John Souttar, mate.
And Rafael Fernandez getting his first minutes at Ibrox as well.
Aye, big tall boy. Still early days. I think it was only about 10 minutes roughly ago and end up. But aye, good to see that again. That as Bridgman says, they're big tall monsters, aren't it? They're just ready to. He's got a bit of pace about him as well, and maybe hopefully in time, maybe him and Nasala will be together because obviously Fernandez seems to be more favoured on the right and Nasala on the left. So two big boys to have in your defence if you can get them playing.
Aye, definitely. Albert, the return of Souttar and Fernandez coming into the squad, it obviously adds a bit of depth to the centre-back. Obviously, Balogun's got the injury, but it gives us 4 centre-backs to choose from going forward.
Aye, it was good to see the big man back. He's a solid enough defender. No, I mean he's one of the things that he brings that none of the other centre halves bring, apart from more powerful in the air, is the fact that he carries the ball forward a lot better than anybody else. Now, he's no fair to take the ball for a run right deep into the opposition's half. He'll do that more often than any other defender will do it. And I noticed that on Sunday. It was just I mean, that's another thing that we missed after the big man. So it was great to see him back. He strolled it, mate. He strolled it. Let's be honest, but as did the whole team. And it was good that it was a game like that to come back into. To be honest with you, because the games usually can get tricky. Well, they have been for a while, but we seem to be getting a bit better at managing these games and putting these games to bed before they get to the tricky stage. The last 10, 15 minutes of a game. But he just strolled it, big man. He's excellent. Good to see him back. Scored a goal and all. What's not to like?
No, definitely, mate. So just going to move forward. I did mention at the start of the show that the transfer window is now closed. It closed last night. So my question to you, the listening audience, is: are you happy with this transfer window business? Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Certainly, come give us your thoughts, give us a call, let us know your thoughts on how the team has been doing the past few weeks, transfer business, and anything else you've got for Albert, GB, myself. It's a show for you guys. It's your show. Let's hear from you. So, GB, the only addition this window was, of course, Rafael Fernandez. We did announce the pre-contract signing of Lyle Cameron, who will come from Dundee in the summer. What's your thoughts on this transfer business, mate? Have we done enough, in your opinion, with players going out and players coming in? Or player coming in, rather?
Aye, player coming in. It's hard to get annoyed, Robert. Last night when the window shut, I was a bit peeved. And for once, it was more because of the situation Philip Clement finds himself in. Big man's got us through to the next rounds for the European League. He's battling with injuries constantly. He's constantly trying to jiggle a squad to put out there to get his wins. And all you're really hoping for is that, like I say, either Patrick Stewart or the board going back on a bit in the January transfer window. Now, granted, they said there'd be one or two that would come in the January transfer window. So if you go by the Lyle Cameron and you go by the Fernandez, then that's your 1 and 2. And then there's been plenty that's went out the door on loan and all the rest of it. So I congratulate them on that. We're getting players out. But I think in a way they've shafted Clement a bit, because I think they should have at least gave him one quality player to add to that squad that could have helped us bed him in for 6 months and have him ready for, let's say, the next qualifiers come the summer, and then obviously building for a title challenge. I just don't understand. I know the financial fair play is there, but Robert, many players that went out the door, Rabbi Matondo, Dell with their wages and stuff like that, I just think we could have done a bit better for the manager. Now, we don't know what's happened behind closed doors. Maybe they've turned and says, look, the targets you're looking for, it'll be better that we go for them in the summer. They may be a bit cheaper or whatever. That's fair dues. But I just think the manager's done enough there to probably warrant at least a signing like a Diamandi or something like that to help add a bit of quality to the squad. And I'm a bit kind of miffed that we didn't do it, because like I says, I think he's shown enough in the transfer windows that he can spot a player, and now Scotland can spot a player. So we don't really have much to worry about. We do bring in guys that are actually contributing to the squad. But overall, for me, it wasn't a great transfer window.
Albert?
Here we go. I agree some with what GB saying. I do. But there's a plan, there's a set of, I'll call it rules for Rangers within the club I'm talking about. There's a procedure here we've got now, and there's a set of rules that we have to abide by. Hence the comment I'll go back to it again, hence the comment for Clement, hoping that stop acting like a Premiership club, because you're no a Premiership club. It's not just regarding wages, by the way. It's regarding transfers. It's regarding holding players too long, recognises weaknesses in players who you don't think is going to improve and moving them out. So for that point of view, I think it's a good window regarding that. But as Clement said, and Patrick Stewart already hinted out, no manager is happy with any transfer window. They always want more players, always. That's just the nature of the beast. But we're in a tricky situation, which we're managing myself right out of, just to add that, is as much as we've got, I reckon we put 6 or 7 out the door. On loan, some might, some get sold, but definitely on loan. We cleared the books. As Clement said, that allowed him to bring Rice, Curtis, and all them into the first team squad. They've made room for them by getting rid of players like Dowell and other players. Some of the B team are away, or the LB team are away out on loan. I mean, that's their final throw of the dice. These boys, I don't know if anybody's told them that, but that's a fact. These boys are out there to make it, and if they're not going to make it, the clubs are all at. They ain't going to make it at Rangers. In other words, they'll not be back at Rangers, I don't think. So for that point of view, again, it's another positive because we're clearing the decks. We're definitely getting into a position of strength now regarding if we do go into the transfer market. It'll not be for 20, 30, 40, 50 million pound nonsense. As I said the other day there, you don't need hundreds of millions of pounds to build a team, a really, really good team. You don't. You know, you need the right people in the right positions. We know how to do it. That's what you need. So if we're careful, which I think we are being, we're not going to go crazy. The way we were doing it before was just bordering on insanity. Let's be honest about it. We gave Michael Beale all that money and let him run about all over Europe, picking these players up that he knew and blah blah blah. That proves a point. It's not the way to do it, mate. And you'll sit with other players on the books that's never for years, never ever produced anything for the club. And so you get rid of all that. So we're doing this. We're getting rid of it all. Dowell's away, which is a brilliant thing because no Herman, the boy. I've heard he's a brilliant player. Yet to see it, but I've heard he's a brilliant player. And I don't doubt it for a minute. But he just wasn't good enough for us, mate. It just didn't work out for us. So things like that need to be done. So for that point of view, I think we've held our bottle in this transfer window, no panic. And went, we need to go out and get somebody just to appease the support. I think a lot of the support are coming into the idea that they know what the club are trying to do and they can see the progress. It's all right. It's no brilliant yet. I'm not saying that for a minute, but it's also no rubbish. It's no completely. We don't know what we're doing, and we've not got a decent squad. We've got the makings of a decent team now, mate. Really, have got the makings of a decent team, and slowly but surely it will turn, and it will get there. And then when it comes to the summer, we need transfers. The money, if there is money, will be spent wisely. And I'm happy with it. It's controlled now. It's not out of control. You just sense it and what's coming out of the club, and the people of importance are telling you the right things. They're not just saying it for saying its sake. They believe what they're saying, and they believe they're doing the right job, and I believe it as well. Because for too long we've wasted millions upon millions upon millions on garbage, absolute garbage, and we can't afford to do it. So we've got to be careful. And I think this window proved that point.
For me, I kind of agree with both of you. I'm a wee bit frustrated that it was only the one in, but again, if you listen to what Patrick Stewart said, he did say 1 or 2, so it didn't come out and say we'll see what we can do or hide anything from us. He gave us a figure that we could go by. We brought 1 in for now, in Fernandez. We get the pre-contract of Lyle Cameron, so that, for me, brings in a young, homegrown Scottish player, again, which we've all been asking for. But I feel that maybe one more this window wouldn't have gone amiss. I don't know what position.
I was just about to ask you that. What position?
Off the top of my head, I would probably go just for a midfielder. I know that would maybe put Bailey Rice maybe down a pecking order again. And I think the boy's done well since he came in. He showed a real hunger, a real desire. And he's been talked about for a number of months or seasons now, that he could be the one that comes up and makes a bit of an impact in the first team from the academy. But I just feel that there's something missing in midfield. Obviously, with the Barron injury, I think it leaves us a little bit light in the middle of the park. But you two, Albert, where would you have went if there was one more signing that we could have got this window? Where would you have brought one in?
Goalkeeper. all day long, mate. Goalkeeper. We're in desperate need of a goalkeeper.
Is that going on the basis of the former Butland?
Aye, and you got to remember, come the summer, right? You're saying about midfield. Come the summer, you'll have Cameron, Rice, Barn, Raskin, and Diamondi all vying for the same positions in the middle of that park. And then you've had Diamondi, Haji, and Cortez. Oh, there's more. I can't think of them all, but all vying for up in the three tens, for a better expression. And then you'll have Dessers, Danilo, and Igaman all for the centre forward position. So you're getting to the stage now. You're starting to get somebody. You want to bring somebody in. They really need to be coming in for a specific reason, and it needs to be something special to come in now to join that squad. And you're talking about the boy get injured there, the Dutch boy. He's got injured. Remember, he's the right back. You've got him, Tavernier, and Stirling off a right back. You've got Suter, Proper, this boy Fernandez, and Nsala all fighting for centre half. So you might need one more centre half. You might need one more centre half. And then at left back, you've got Yefte. You've got Fraser out at Livingston. So your left back and Ridvan. So your left back, I think Ridvan might be leaving and come the summer, but we never know. But you might be slightly light on your right back position. So you've got plenty now. You might need a wee bit of experience. That's that. I think we need a goalkeeper. I do really seriously think we need a goalkeeper. But you might look at the overall situation and say we need a bit of experience. We need to bring a wee bit of experience into the squad, and I think that's what the summer's going to bring, a bit of experience into the squad.
One thing I will say, Albert, is if you brought a goalkeeper in, I don't disagree that it's an area maybe we'll need to look at based on Jack Butland's form. But what I will say is, if we were going for a goalkeeper, do you think Liam Kelly would have went, I'm not being third choice, I'm away here, or would have been happy to play third fiddle?
No, I'd get rid of Butland. I think he'll still remain second. Kelly will still remain second choice. I'd get rid of Butland. I'm serious about it. I know. I'm not joking about this. I don't think he's good enough for Rangers. I really don't. No, he's not the kind of keeper that we need. He can't be throwing these silly goals that he's losing. I mean, there's crazy goals he's losing, in important games as well. So no, to me, we need a better keeper. And you always start for the back when you're building a team, remember? And the goalkeeper's one of the key positions, obviously. They start building a team. And we need to get that position right before we get any other position right. Get that position right and build for there. So I think we need a keeper. And it's just, if you get money and get the right offer for him, it's ching ching cheerio.
Albert makes some good points, GB. What about yourself? If there was one more signing in this window, what position would it have been for you?
I mean, I seem we're linked with wingers in the kind of last day there, Robert. But it was like a left-sided winger, which I was surprised about considering the amount of players we've got out that side. It was more the probably right-hand side I'd be looking for cover for Tierney. Again, they him to Ross McCausland, but he's just not got to cut it on that right side of the wing. He's just, whether that's his long-term position, I don't know, but the boys just not got it the same quality as what Tierney's got. So I would have probably preferred somebody coming in there that could have challenged Tierney in that position to try and help rest him. I mean, especially when we're going into bigger games, would it not be great that we could take Tierney off and put on nearly the same kind of quality on that wing, still making attacking threats? That's what I would be probably looking for. I agree with Albert. If there's money there in the summer that we can cash in on Butland, then I wouldn't be opposed to it, to be honest. I think he's kind of showing that sometimes in the big games, and even like say that one against Motherwell, he's coming out and he practically palms it into his net. He's done that twice now. I think if we keep him, he's steady enough for our league. And it's just really down to us that we just need to make sure we score more goals than the league. But for like I say, the European competitions, I don't know. He's probably not the answer. But I just think let's just come on overall, Robert, in this transfer window, he earned enough. And the worry is that if this is the kind of setup that we've got going forward, that we're just going to add gradually then it's all right adding, as Albert's saying, like players that are hopefully going to contribute to the squad, but we need experience. We need to, and that's the hard thing, because we've got such little money. We need to be smart with it. But if we're so cautious in every transfer window, then where does the title challenge eventually come? Because you're always going to have that kind of squad that's nearly there, nearly built, whereas you're competing against a squad that's settled across the city constantly. You know what I mean? Constantly they're improving on their team. And it's a hard task, you know what I mean? Especially when we've not got strength and depth. I just hope that the board have got a wee bit of ambition come the summer. I hope that's the time that we actually see that we not so much spend loads, but we spend wisely, and it's the bits of quality that we need to kind of gel the squad together, that it's actually going to compete. Because if it's no, and it's kind of another window like that, full of loans or boys out of contract and stuff like that need time to bed in and all that, we're going to see the same thing season after season. And I don't know how long the fans can put up with that.
Well, I think one thing you say there, mate, is the gradual building. I think as supporters, we want players in the door, but for me, it has to obviously be the right players at the right money. But I think we've looked at past transfer windows and past managers that have went and got a load of players, and then they don't gel, they don't work well together, or they just don't cut it. So in a sense, I agree. I don't want them to gradually build, but I don't want them to go out and panic either. I think that's what Albert was saying there as well. We don't want to be doing these panic signings that we just get 3 or 4 in just for numbers. I know the league form, especially away from home, has been contentious, but the European form has showed that some of these players can actually stand up and go and do it. And some of these boys have come in the door. I mean, you look at UFD, Agaman, they come in as probably project players. They're probably now first names on the team sheet most weeks. So I kind of trust that they'll get the right player. It is just about making sure that the right player comes in and comes into the right squad as well. Albert?
I mean, these players are ready. There's no. I know GB say we can't keep waiting for these players to develop. These players are developed now. There's just the rough edges need to be taken off them, and a bit of experience needs to be gained. That's all, mate. These players are ready right now. Rice is ready right now. You've seen it yourself. I've said before, it's Southside saying it the other night. We've seen him doing it at Capital when he was the B team. And the first thing I said to Southside, and he was agreeing at the time, is that boy will never get in a Clermont team because he doesn't work hard enough off the ball. There you heard Clermont saying it the other day. The good thing about it is Clermont's recognising it, and the scouts, the coaches are recognise it. But they're telling these boys. But the good thing about it is the boys are listening, because you see Rice now. He works his socks off now, and he's got the ability. He's got the ability. The boys get the ability to go in and have a great career. But these players are ready right now. So don't think for a minute we'll have to wait 2, 3, 4, 5 years for these players. Well, no, these players are ready right now. The big thing we've got now is we've cleared out most of the dead wood, but there's a new set of dead wood. It's got this year, the rest of this year, and the first half of next year. Maybe say or nay to keep these players, and there's 3 of them right away fall into this category. And you say these players need to start showing up for their work. It's getting to the stage they're going to be considered a Matondo or a Roof or a Jack. You know what I mean? Constantly injured. And these 3 players are Sterling, Cortez, and Daniel. These 3 players need to start turning up for their work. We've had enough of this nonsense with these 3 good players as well. But they're no good sitting in the stand. So they're coming into sight. They're not there yet, but they're definitely heading to come into the crosshairs, because Dowell and all that, so starting to get cleared out. What you call them, Davis, Wright, all these players, they're all gone now. They're all gone. Matondo, all gone. All right, they're out on loan, might not get signed, but they're out on loan. And once you're out there, once you got you halfway out the door, you just it's a wee push to get you right out the door. So we're clearing the decks, mate. The players you've got now are ready. The players that came for the B team are ready. Curtis might need a wee bit of time. I'll give him cut him a wee bit of slack, but he's not that far away from it. But the rest of them are ready. I expect, seeing the boys come on there at the weekend, I know it was only Ross County, I'm expecting them to influence the game, and they did. I'm not expecting these boys to come on and get a half an hour. It's good to get a wee bit. I'm expecting these boys to pull their weight now. So they're there for a reason. They're on the bench for a reason. So they're first team players now. No more of this wee boys wanting a bit of experience. Get out there and do something now. And that's what McCausland's letting himself do. He's regressed into maybe 6 months behind where he should be, maybe even a year, but definitely 6 months behind where he should be. He should be pushing well on by now. So he needs to watch his feet in the low gas. But we're ready. And once we get the right signing, start with a goalkeeper now. Trust me, a goalkeeper. We need a goalkeeper. Once we start pushing forward, you'll see it. You'll see it yourself. You must see the patterns of play starting to emerge now. Well, okay, right, no date for 90 minutes. Okay, it might not happen not every game, but you definitely can see it improving. I don't know about you, but I can definitely see it improving.
I think there's times, Albert, that in certain games, as you say, maybe not for the 90 minutes, but certain games you've seen a bit of an identity, a bit of style of what they want to do. One thing that's clear to me, though, I come to yourself, GB, is the kind of route that we're going down with the kind of squad building is a much younger route. If you look at the squad, it is a fairly young squad, which in itself brings potential, but also the way we develop these players, they've got a platform of league, cups, European football. There's no better stage to develop, and if and when the time comes to move them on, some of them could be real assets. So I think going down this route for me is a positive. I get we need experience, and that will come. There will be signings that they add experience, and it'll be in key areas. But I think the pleasing thing, GB, is it's a young squad that we're building here for the future.
I agree, Robert. I do like it because it's, again, they've got selling value. They do well, and they'll help us reinvest that into our team. But with that as well comes inconsistency as well, and this is where I back Colbert with Clement. Now, I've been one of Clement's probably biggest critics. How he set up during pre-season and all the rest of it. How I felt he wasn't organised, he wasn't ready for this season. But see, now knowing what we know with how everything was so erratic behind the scenes, and we've seen this January transfer window as well, and possibly how it's going to go in the summer again with probably limited signings. Like, we'll not be able to criticise Clement, because if this is the strategy of signing young players consistently, then there's got to be games where Clement it's not going to be his fault. It's going to be a player switching off. It's going to be a young boy who's inexperienced. And I don't know, like, in our league, we know how tight it can be. Like, you lose a couple of games or a couple of draws, you might never get a chance to get back into a title race for that. And this is where my worry is the board starting to now accept that we'll maybe win a title one in every 4 years. I mean, if that's the way we're going down, then I don't know. I just feel as though that we really need new investment in the club. I just can't see us constantly living off of young boys, and hopefully we sell them on for 20 million. I mean, that's the dream. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of them might just run out their contract, or you might get, as Solber's saying, a lot of the boys might not step up to the mark. These young boys for the B team and all the rest of it, they might not make it. They might just end up having to sit in their contract and drag out 10 grand, 15 grand a week, and then we just let them go. This is where my concern is with the transfer window. We're signing young boys. We're going to have an inconsistency there, and it's going to give technically Clement an excuse, because if he's not getting the players that he's exactly wanting to take us to the next level, then how can we criticise a guy?
It's not going to be like that, GB. You've got to remember, we're building a team here. What will happen is you might get rid of 1, 2 players in a season. Over the season, I'm talking about. It's all about balancing books and growing the club and keeping the club on an even keel and keeping value within your squad. That's what it's all about. That's what any club does. It's not about, we get all these young boys, we sell all these young boys, and we start all right back to square one again. It's not going to be like that. You're going to have to get rid of 1 or 2 to balance books and give yourself a wee bit of transfer budget to bring in the next batch, whatever they are. So it's an evolving thing. It always go. Some of these young players might be here for 5, 6, 7 years. You just don't know what ones it's going to be, and it depends who the market's wanting. Like young Jeffy there, they're talking about, oh, Chelsea's wanting him, all right. Might be the time to sell him if they are after him, if they want to pay the right money. Igaman's the same. They're all the same day on Monday, but nobody's going to come in and wipe out a whole squad. Nobody's going to do that. So you're going to just keep evolving 2 or 3 players, maybe one or two at the January window, 2 or 3 players in the summer window. But this is the first transfer window I've seen in years that I think we're, as a club, under control. I think we're totally under control and know exactly what we're doing. And I think it's all in a plan. Don't get me wrong, the manager might not like it. He wants more players. Of course he does. He wants better players. Of course he does. But this is the reality where we are. And you've got to look at other clubs, especially like Mob across the city. They're balancing the books, mate. They're selling players to buy players. Don't let any of the kids you on. Right? But they're spending billions and millions of pounds. We're building a team practically out of nothing. And if we do it, which I think and hope and probably get caught, I'm confident enough we are doing it. It's better doing it that way than starting to join in this mental Premier League hype crap, because they're just spending hundreds and billions of pounds on transfers, and it all sounds good, and we want to be part of this. We're never going to be part of that. They're not more because society. They're not even part of it. They're paying off the penny tray, mate, and trying to kid under some super duper club. They're no, mate. They're the same as us. They've just got a better chance. They've had a 10-year head start on us regarding the Champions League stuff that we go at them. Let's be no kid Barcelona about that. So don't worry about them. We'll reel them in. That's not a problem. What's the problem is selling your players on at the right price. That's what you're after, mate. That's what they've got that we have no go at. Selling your players on at the right price and at the right time, and keeping the squad evolving. But we're heading in the right direction. I'm quite confident, mate. I don't know about you, but don't panic about it. It's not going to be a panic.
Robert, can I just ask Albert, do you know how we're going to shortchange Clement? No, I feel as though that guy, see what he's displayed in Europe, and he's displayed at Ibrox at times, and recently against Celtic, where, again, against Celtic, one hand tied behind his back into that game at home, by the way. Like, the pressure was mounting on him on that game that he had to win that Old Firm game. And he done it. He got through it. And like I says, he's got us through, like I says, to the next round in Europa League and all that. The guy is doing everything one hand tied behind his back. Again, I admit, I've been critical of him. But for the stuff that he's had to put up with, Albert, I just think it's about time, like it says, behind the scenes, step up and support this guy. And give him the one or two players that's going to help him at least give a title challenge. Albert, see if we're not going to support this guy, I just think it's considering what he's had to put up with and all the flack that he's took for us and he's took for the press and all the rest of it, and he's still here fighting for our club. I just think it's about time we actually helped him out, because it's shocking. I think it's shocking the way we're treating him.
Well, he didn't sign up for all this, and he admitted that himself. When he originally took the interview for the Rangers job, he didn't sign up for what position he's in. Not so much right now, but this year. He never signed up for that. That's why you get the extra year, because they took him in and told him the full story, and he's seen behind the scenes for himself. And they've took him in and saying, look, rather than you saying you never signed up for this and coming out with that or walking away, we'll give you another year's contract to sort this out. It's a bigger job than you think. And he signed up for that and agreed it and said, aye, okay, I'll sign for that. And to me, the man's a man of honour. He's sitting there saying, I'm not walking away. I'm seeing this through. And what he's talking about is he's wanting leagues. He's not going to sit there. He's a winner. He's not going to sit there in a couple of cups and one league every now and again. It's good for him. That's not good to him. He's not building for that. He's not building the club for that. There's Coppin and there's Stewart. Is there the rest of the board? Nobody's happy about no winning leagues and no winning cups. Of course I know. And what he's done, and you're right in pointing it out, is a fantastic job, man. It's a fantastic job under the circumstances. The only thing that's failing this season is the away form. And a lot of that we brought on Marcel with silly, stupid mistakes. So you've got to take that into consideration as well. So he's definitely going to build the team. There's no doubt about that. He will build the team. I said before that he might, get long enough to enjoy the fruits of his labours, it were, because I think the next manager coming in after him will enjoy the squad that he's actually built. Whoever's going to come in after him is going to enjoy a better squad than he's took over and the situation that he took over in regards with the whole club. So, from that point of view, I think the guy's doing a fantastic job. We're getting to the top 8 of the European, which is a minor miracle. Okay, we carried a bit of luck on that particular game, but we never carried a bit of luck on all the other games. We played really well, and we deserved it. We had 5 results going our way. So what? We know allowed to get that bit of luck. Like, this is some people. I know you're not saying that, mate. It's we deserved it for the efforts we put in, and the circumstances the club's in. But this is the future, mate. We need to get used to this. This is the future. And I keep telling you, we don't need to spend hundreds of millions of pounds to build a team. You need the people in place who know how to build a team. That's what you need, mate. Experts who know how to do it. And Clement, that's his speciality. Taking young players and turning them into championship teams, mate. Not just for one season. He'll build a team that will take you forward. If the momentum keeps going and the club keeps recycling a certain amount of players at the right time for the right price, that's what I see is happening now. And you've got to admit, we've got some really exciting young players there. No? I mean, you've got to admit that. Not just the ones we brought in. The boy Rice is an exciting young player. The boy Curtis is an exciting young player. I'm a bit disappointed that Lovelace, I don't think he signed his contract, didn't he? I'm a bit disappointed that boy left because he deserved to get in that first team as well. Anyway, so that's my point on it.
Just to be devil's advocate, GB, I've said it before in the show, but I'll put the question to you: Is this board, i.e., Fraser Thornton, Patrick Stewart, are they looking at previous regimes and seeing where the errors were and mistakes about giving away transfer money and getting the wrong players in? Are they just being a bit smart and thinking that they don't want to make the same mistakes of previous regimes, and that's why they've been coying this window and assess the squad fully in the summer?
I think so. I mean, again, this window, if it's the case that we've had to no go and get the player that Clement wants or whatever, and it's got to be a cheaper option in the summer for him, and we'll be able to get a right good talented player in, then I'm happy with that. But if it's going to take what it says, if they're going to be penny pinching, and it's got to be this way, or we can't push the boat out. I mean, we can't push it to that limit of the financial fair play. Then, well, as a support, we're going to have to accept that titles will come once in a blue moon. I mean, it's just got to be inevitable because, as we've said already tonight, it's catch up again across the city. They've got to settle. As Albert says, they're 10 years in front. They've got money banked. They've got a settled team. All they need to do is take one player out and then they add one player back in. We're having to add in 3 or 4 to try and get us into title races and stuff like that, which again costs money. And like I says, it's already gone for your Diamandis, your Raskins and stuff like that. But again, it's very hard to get that right. Iggermans, I mean, how lucky are we to get a boy like that for what we paid for him? It's just total luck. And then again, you're needing that time for them to bed in and understand the system, understand going up to a St Johnstone on a horrible night that you need to grind out a result, going to a Hibs where they're smashing you in the face. You know what I mean, going to Aberdeen where they're right up for it and wanting to give you the full pelt for 90 minutes. It's just these young boys will know how to handle that. And if we keep, I think if we keep doing transfer windows like that, we're shortchanging Clement. I just don't think it's fair. I think that, as Albert says, that man's got all the tools to make us successful. And it's got to be a shame that if he doesn't get to see it out, and then even if the next guy comes in, he's got to be battling the same thing again. So we either
GB, it's no cheaper option. We don't want to go down that road. It's no cheaper option. It's the right option, mate. Whatever option's the right option. Disregard the money. Forget about transfers, fees, and forget about all that. The players we bring in has got to be the right players to suit the system as it sits at the moment, and the way we want to take it forward. And don't think for a minute this team's not going to challenge for leagues and win leagues, mate. This team will win leagues. Not a problem, mate. They're not as far ahead as they think they are. They are when it comes into transfers and spending money on transfers. They don't think that as a team they're that miles ahead of us. They're not, mate. I can tell you that for nothing. They are not that far ahead of us. They think they are, but they're not really. We're more than capable of battling with them. More than capable, and that will win you leagues. And the more you win, and the better you get, and the more consistent you'll get, and then it becomes a way of life, just winning. These boys will do it. I'm quite confident these boys will do it. They've got the enthusiasm to do it. They've got the drive to do it. They've got the heart to do it. And if we give them the support, which we will do, because we always do, these boys will take you all the way, mate. And I don't mean just for one season. These boys will get you sustained success. And they've done well in Europe over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it is. It's 5 years, isn't it? We've done well in Europe. We'll continue to do well in Europe because we've got the know-how to do it in Europe. So what's not to like, mate? No, it's not to like. I think we're in a good place. And I don't think they're letting them do that much, GB, to be honest with you. I don't think the club's letting them do that much. But you remember, Patrick Stewart's doing a review at the moment as well. So he'll not be wanting to go and make any mistakes by simply taking his time and looking at the review. Because he said the review would take, 2-3 months, whatever it is. So the transfer window's landed right in either the start or the beginning of the review. So he's got to take into that. He's got to let that process be seen to be done and carrying it out. And let's look at the results of that to see where he's going. Because at the end of the day, if he doesn't take that into consideration and allow the time to do it, he might be making a wrong decision himself, saying, well, I think we'll need to do that. And he does that. And then the review comes back and tells him something completely different. So we'll need to wait and see. We'll need to wait and see, mate. But I've got no fears, mate. I've got no fears at all. I think we're heading in the right direction. I think you're going to end up with a brilliant team, an absolutely brilliant team. Good, fast, exciting young team.
I just hope they show consistency for the rest of the season, Albert, that will give me the confidence that this is the right road that we're on, mate. I just think that if it's getting draws away from him and all that carry on and silly mistakes, then again, I'm not going to leave the blame at Clement's door. I'm going to leave it firmly at where our board's structuring the club. Again, if you're bringing in boys who I don't know the Scottish game and need time to bed in, and the consistency keeps collapsing all the time, Albert, then I'm not going to be happy. You know what I mean? As a supporter, I'm not going to be happy that they've done that. That's the road they've chosen, because I want to see us back challenging again. I don't mind doing the Gerrard scenario where we give him a couple of seasons to build and then we properly challenge. You know what I mean? But once we challenge, we need to keep that momentum going. We need to keep, what I say is, hopefully winning a title, and then it progresses into maybe if we have a slip up the following season, but then the following season after that we come back and win a title. I don't want to keep seeing this rotation of one in every 6 years that we eventually get a title and we keep stopping their challenge of 9 in a row and all this carry on. I want to see us back winning trophies, and I just don't think Clement's getting, so far from what I can see, that our board's got the money or the investment to back him to do what we want him to do. Because I think Clement can win those titles. I think he can build as a fantastic team. But I just don't think, like I say, he's got to get the backing or he's got to run out of time.
I think.
No, I don't think. Okay, sorry,
go,
go.
On you go, mate.
No, go. I don't think he's going to run out of time. And the only way he'll run out of time is if the support keep on and doing what they're doing and calling for his head. That eventually, and the way results don't improve. So they've started to improve. We've been Dundee United. So it's that consistency. We all want to see consistency. But the name of the game at the moment is getting the major decisions correct. It's important on the part. And I still wanted to win the league this year. And I've not gave it up, really. No, it's mathematically impossible, because you never give anything up until it's mathematically impossible. Because if you do give it up, you start getting used to doing that. And I think a lot of the Rangers supporters have started getting used to just getting a league up early doors. So never give it up. You fight to the very last. It's impossible to win it. That's when you give up. That's when you concede and go, oh, well, he's won the league, so what? But no, until that point, you just keep going. You just keep going, and that's when you'll build consistency, because you go to the squads, you got to let them know every game we play, from now to the end of the season, is important. We want to win it every game. Don't care what it is. We want to win it. So that's why you do that. So you just don't give up. Never give up, mate. Never. I don't think you have gave up, but don't ever throw the towel in. Never. Sorry, you got to tune.
Well, speaking of consistency, old bear, it's that time of the night for a tune. Get yourselves on mute.
I don't know if you can see what the Rangers really mean to me in these last few years. I've been afraid that we might drift away, so I've been telling old stories and singing songs that made me think about where we came from. And that's the reason why I feel so very proud today. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. We won 9 in a row, and I'm still dreaming of Brian Laudrup and Trevor Stephen. Big Marvin Andrews said keep believing. Davy Cooper on the wing, and we remember Gaza with great affection. The day the helicopter changed direction, and Jimmy Baxter was pure perfection. Super Valley scores again. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more than sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. Without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more than sad. Glasgow Rangers is everything I've ever had.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Mailback, boys.
Back, mate.
Yep, all here, mate.
Cheers for that, Fox. Always good for a tune. Foxy boy. GB, just a question. See, the frustration, I can understand where you're coming from about the board maybe not backing Clement, especially after qualifying for the last 16 of the Europa League, which is a great achievement in itself. Is the frustration that we've not done more business this January window, or as a whole, is the board have done kind of in the summer as well?
The frustration for me, Robert, is that the things that Clermont's done, like it says, getting through the next round of Europa League, the like say showing signs with like the Old Firm game, the constant stuff he's had to do with hands time behind his back. We've seen good stuff there, and we can see what this man can do. It's just the guy needs some help. I don't see any of the windies yet that we've really helped him, like helped him progress. He even said that it says the club have identified the players that he knows that it's going to take them to the next level, and he's not got them. So we're looking at January. We're looking at the summer window now. So if we go into the summer window and begin one player, say, out of that, and obviously we've got an obligation to buy Cortez, then again, what are we doing? Like, I don't get it. I don't think we're being fair to Clermont. We're just dragging them along for the ride, isn't it? It's just, can you just hang about till we get this squad built, and then once we give you enough, then you can start trying to challenge for titles. I don't think that's fair. I just think, like I says, we're going to be maybe another 2 seasons down the road, and Clermont's got a 4-year contract. So by the time he's into his last year's contract, that's when we'll actually be starting to challenge for a title. I don't. And again, as Albert says, the fans will be on Clermont's back because he's maybe no winning titles or he's no winning trophies. But I just don't understand why we could criticise a guy when he's not getting the team that he wants. Because the guy can prove that he can do a job. The guy can, what it says, get us into the later rounds of the Europa League. We can clearly compete with Celtic with a lesser team. I just wish, like it says, they'd push the boat out just a wee bit and just help the guy. That's where the frustration comes in, because you can see so much potential in this squad. You can see so much potential in this manager, what he could actually do with a bit of backing. And I just think we're going to end up either scunning him, or, like I says, the pressure will mount because he's not getting. Like I says, will maybe be even Stevens with Celtic on a title challenge, and the next minute will collapse because of 2 away results, and we'll never get the points back. I mean, that's my frustration. And that will not be doing to come on. It'll be because we've got inexperience in the squad.
If we kept the squad, GB, as it is just now, at the start of next season, and we went and spent 6 or 7 million on Tierney, would you be happy with that bit of business? And the squad stayed as it is, obviously barring some outgoings, but in terms of incomings, would that be enough for you come the summer?
I mean, I definitely would want Tierney back. I mean, because of the amount he's contributed to the squad. He's got to be a big loss, by the way, if we don't get him back next season. And then you're having to bed in a new right-sided attacker. I mean, this is what I'm saying. Into the summer, if he doesn't come back or some other team snaps him up, like what happened with Tillman, then we're going to have to get another guy in to understand that right-sided attack. This is what I don't like. I don't like this merry-go-round. I think, personally, if we can get that Casawero boy back, then that gives us a good option on the right-hand side to defence. Fernandez, we've got Nisala, we've got John Suter, Proper, Yefti and Yilmaz. That's a good solid base. Goalkeeping, obviously, it says, I think me and Albert are on the same page that if they can cash in, then cash in. But I wouldn't be overly fussed with that. If that's an area we can just get by with, then fair enough. But the midfield, I think, is quite solid. Like it says, we've got the boy Cameron coming in. We've got Barron, Vaskin. Plenty of bodies in there. It's just like I says, I think if we just give him enough up front. Again, he's young and raw. We're going to get inconsistency with him. Dessers, we know what he does. Danilo can't stay fit. So it's your attacking options you're trying to invest in. And I think you need experience up there, to be honest. You're needing a class act. You're needing a kind of, I would say, the ability of Haji and Tierney up front. Somebody that can, like I says, See, like seasons gone by, when you see across the city going into like Paris Saint-Germain, they got that boy Edward, right, 21, 22-year-old, who had all the talent there. That's what we need. We need a signing like that is, even, by the way, going back to Sima, see if we could get a hold of Sima. That's the kind of thing I'd like. If we can get a hold of him, then I think we'd have a strong enough squad to hopefully the challenge. But I don't know if we've got the money. It's proven, like I says, we're struggling as it is, and we've sent out so many players in this window that we can't even, like I says, get a manager one guy in this transfer window. That's the worry for me.
The reason I asked the question about the January window is it's not a window that we're known for doing a lot of business. I mean, if you look at the past 5 winter transfer windows this season, Rafael Fernandez in on loan, the only deal. Obviously, the pre-contract kind of comes at the summer window. Last season winter window, we brought in Fabio Silva, Mo Diomande, and Oscar Cortez, all on loan initially. Obviously, Diomande became a permanent. The year before, we spent a bit of money on Todd Cantwell and Nico Raskin. Before that, famously 2022, Amad Diallo, James Sands, Aaron Ramsey, all on loan. And we spent just short of 500,000 on the Polish right back Zikowski. And if you go before that, it was Jack Simpson and Scott Wright, who obviously saw Ross McCrory, go to Aberdeen as a bit of a part exchange and cash deal. We don't often do a lot of business, Old Bear, but for me, I would say one player stands out there that's been a hit in a January signing, and that will be Nico Raskin.
I mean, you're reading all the names out, and the majority of them are crap, mate. I was going to say push, but I'm not allowed to say that. But these signings don't fill you with confidence. But the fact that you don't do a lot of good business in the January is a fact. That's not just us. With fact, we brought that boy Silver in, £35 million player, supposed to be stinking, absolutely stinking. Then we brought the wee boy that's shining for Manchester United, and too early. Kicked off the ball, kicked all over the place. Couldn't get into the games, but definitely had skill. But I agree with you, mate. Going back to, I mean, before I forget, the Czerny one. I'd bring Czerny in at the right price, but if it's £6-7 million, not a chance, mate. Not a chance. He's not worth that. You've got to bring him in at the right price, and if there's other teams going to be prepared to pay that, which I think there will be, because there's already, for the rumour mill tells you that other teams actually looking at him and who, so be it. It's like Seema. We wanted Seema, but we couldn't afford them. We're still at this stage. We can't afford certain players. As Copen said, stop trying to live like a Premier League club, because we're not a Premier League club. We've all got a Premier League income, so we've got to cut your cloth accordingly. So we've got to find a way to get winning teams, both domestically and Europe, without spending millions. And it can be done. And this is the way we're going to go about it. And it's not a system that's not been tried before with other clubs. No, I mean, let's not try and say we're inventing the wheel here. No, it's just a fact of life. But if you get the right people who know what they're doing in the right positions, as I say, I keep repeating myself, but that's the big difference, mate. That is the big difference. So going to sign players is one thing. Limited budget is another thing, and so you've got to work it out and hope you get the right people in the right place, spotting the right players, and the availability of the players and bringing them in the right price with the right contract. It's difficult today, not impossible, but difficult, very difficult. But it can be done because we're well ahead of it if you think about it. Because if you look at Yefty, for example. Tell me a 20-year-old Scottish player, left back, that's better than that boy. And so you go and Diamond. Tell me somebody at his age, Scottish, that's better than that boy. And then you go into Cortez, if he's ever going to get fit. Tell me about a Scottish winger at his age that's better than him. We're doing youth, but we're bringing it in. We've done away with the B team, rightly so in my opinion. It wasn't producing much at all, mate, if anything. All right. Curtis come in, Rice is in, but remember, we bought Rice for Motherwell. So he's bought in as well. So that might be the way forward for us, mate. That is the way forward for us, I think. I don't think it is... Igaman, there's another one. Tell me a centre forward at his age is better than him in Scotland. No, Scottish player I'm talking about. There's nothing out there, mate. I know people are going on that we should bring Scottish players in, we should bring Scottish players. But the Scottish players are not as good as the players you're bringing in. That's a fact of life, mate. You just got to face up to it. And I hear this snobbery carry on getting mentioned. It's nonsense. There's Barron, for example, telling you why we don't do it as well. A free transfer. Barron's a free transfer. Free transfer at £600,000. You sit and go, well, would you have spent £600,000 in Barron if it was a transfer fee with a year left in his contract? No, you wouldn't. So, and this boy, Cameron, he's going to be the exact same. You'll go to spend a few bob on this boy. A free transfer, out of contract, but you're still going to pay money. Lots of money for these boys. Whether you'd have spent that kind of money on the boy if he was a year left in his contract or time left in his contract, I'd say not. But that's the way it is. So we're restricted no matter where we turn. Then we'll get the FFP to contend with as well. So there's a lot of restriction on us. It's not just as easy as saying, just give some money and back the manager and throw money at it. It's not going to work. And we've already, the threes of us sat here tonight, and they'll say, right, who would you bring in if you're bringing in one? We already talked about one player. Bringing one more player, and who would you pick? Three struggle to bring, apart from the goalkeeper. Me and JB agree on the goalkeeper. But anybody else, you're struggling to think, who do you bring in? Who do we actually really need? It becomes really difficult to work out. And you're not wanting to just fill the players up, fill the squad up with mediocre players. You're looking for something a wee bit better, a wee bit special, like Igaman, players like that. Cortez is the one I want to see getting fit and getting really into Scottish football, because I don't even think he's made a dent on it yet. So I really want to see him. But that's just my opinion on it, mate. But
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Well,
I think that's the rumoured fee that Parent Club Wolfsburg are wanting. And I think his performances in Europe have probably upped that value. I don't know his contract situation there. I know Sima, GB, he is out of contract next season. So whether Brighton look to extend that or get him off the books in the summer. But I think that's a ship that may have sailed, in just my opinion. I think we're now in markets that we've not been in before. I mean, the likes of Igaman, Yefty certainly proved where we're looking at players. Fernandez to an extent as well. A young boy who has not played any first team football at Lille, but Clement or Coppin has seen enough that they think he can come in and do a job to the end of the season. Enciala as well, a boy who's on the books at AC Milan. They want to keep him, as far as I'm led to believe as well, and that must say something in its own accord. So we're definitely shopping in a different market, and I think, albeit you're right in saying that it's the right price for these players. Maybe not a cheaper option, that it could be another £3 or £4 million spent on a player who hasn't delivered. We wanted to go back to the likes of Cifuentes, Lammers, money that's spent on them. They're now out on loan or away. So I think you're right, Albert, that we have to basically pay the right fee for the right player. I think we've been joined by James. Good evening, James.
Going. Can you hear me?
Hi, James. We can hear you. What's your thoughts tonight, pal?
Right. Okay. I've said this all along. The defending with Rangers have been so bad. All teams play in Scotland a big boot up the park. And we can't deal with it since 2016. We lost the Scottish Cup because of that, an in-swinger. We've been like that for years and years. How does any manager not say, we'll get some good, strong centre-half to deal with this? And we still are liable to it. And some excellent centre-halves that can head the ball, because that's the way they play in Scotland, the high ball. Get the ball. What's the Kilmarnock Dundee United? The two teams play, get the ball and bluter it right up the park. You know what I mean? And we can't deal with it. And there have been too many bad buys. I spent $3 million and too many bad buys. It's like Cortez is. Colombians are supposed to be tough. He comes here and he gets injured all the time. Matondo and Dowell. If I was a manager, I would say to them a question: do you want to play for this club? Because the effort you're putting in is ridiculous. I mean, so there's too many bad buys. They've wasted too much money, and that's why they've not got any money. And Stevie Clifford said, I know Stevie Clifford, Rangers Reviews says, we buy a £3 million player, he's got to be able to start running, not we'll settle in about 6 months later. We'll get too many players that do that. So that's my point.
That's a great point. Just touching on your last one there about a player coming in and doing the job straight away when you spent money on him. We started talking about Badrami at the start of the show.
Yeah.
4.3 million. He's not exactly hit the lights running. I'll take your points to GB.
Hi, James. Mate, I agree. Like the defence side of things has been probably our Achilles heel, and yet during 55 we were absolutely solid at that point in time. I felt as if we nailed it. You know what I mean? We found that, like I says, we were like at that point. I couldn't see anybody breaking down a defence in us, and their set plays were good at that time as well. I think we're slowly getting back to a bit of consistency at the back. It's just our goalkeeper at times is a bit of a bomb scare for some reason now. I don't know what's happened to him. He's lost a bit of confidence. But like I says, I think, see, just league-wise, I'm not really bored about Europe because Europe will take care of itself. But league-wise, all we need to do is do what we've done at the weekend there. As long as we won the game before half-time, then we can easily sit in second gear in the second half. Now, the fans might not like that because they want to see more goals. But I'm quite happy. See if we're 3-0 up at half-time and we can make the changes. We can put on a Rice and all the rest of it and a McCausland and just see out the game. And we can keep the rotation going, keep our good players, our right good talented players fit and well. Then we will be able to sustain a title challenge. But I think, like I says, the transfer window in the summer's got to be massive for us, James. I don't know what you do. I don't know, do you spend big? And when I say spend big, is for us the new is like the 3-4 million bit, or do you just keep shopping in the market, say out of contract players, or you go into like, I mean, I seen we're linked with another Moroccan player as well. I mean, I can see as like we're going to try and venture into these markets more, and maybe spend like 500,000. But I mean, what I say is, if they come in and they've got experience behind them, then by all means. But if they're coming in with, like say what you're saying with young Cortez, he hardly played, and he's got all the tools there. But we've just not got time anymore. I don't think we've got the time anymore to keep bedding in players. I don't think that's fair and come on. I think it's about time, like it says, we gave them the tools to like it says, be consistent rather than be inconsistent.
Yeah, but I also want to point out, do they not say to these players when they come to Scotland, like you're playing in a league that they kick the ball down the field? It's not the MLS or the La Liga. I mean, that's the way they play. That's the way they win their games, because they get the ball and they hit it hard down to the box. And they'll try and kick you off the park. And these guys will say, oh, yeah, I understand that. I'm going to really try. But like Cortez was played at Rugby Park. I wouldn't have played him there because you know how many people have been injured there and so forth. I would go for £1 million players and buy 4 of them, and at least you get 2 good, and at least instead of spending your money on one guy. That's what I would go for. I would go this system. There's tons of players. I've said this for years. There are tons of players in leagues all over the world that are quite good, would do a job for us. And you don't need to give them a lot of money. And who would give Matondo 25 grand for the effort? Is that pathetic? I would have, if I was a manager, I would have come out and said, he's dropped from the field. He's in the reserves until he can do something. You know what I mean? And the amount of players we sell for rubbish money is pathetic as well. No wonder we've no money. They not get guys that can sell players and say this guy's good, and don't take rubbish offers from people. Tell them to go. Look at the money they spend in the English Premiership, 30 million for that guy used to play for us. Now, would we sell Egerman? I would put 30 million plus on him and just say anybody less, just don't even bother phoning. Be a bit ruthless with them. That's the problem. We're too soft.
Albert, you touched on it earlier on about selling players at the right time as well. I think we can all agree that, especially after Seville, there was players of high value that we should have maybe cashed in on then and not let them run contracts down. Yeah. Camaras, Aribo, Kent, Morelos, to name a few.
It's the market at the time, mate. It's not just as simple as we need to sell players. It's people interested in them. Allegedly, Kent and Morelos had some interest. We don't know that for a fact, but if they did, they should have sold them. Should have learned a lesson with that. But we wouldn't. I mean, it's like GB saying we are trying to build a team, yet we're selling players. It's just the nature of the beast. Also, see this players that we can't afford to get players that is going to take 6 months to settle in. I agree, but it's not an exact science. You never know what a player's going to do. They're human beings. They're all different, so you don't know. Some players can settle in and play right away, other players can't. It's just the way it is, mate. And you've got to just take it as you get it, as you see it, and or as it happens. No, for example, Cherny, he settled in right away and started performing, but like Rami's taking a wee bit of time to settle in, but you can see he's still got skill. It's just some of these things happen like that. It's not an exact science, but for getting 4 players at $1 million, James, it's no guarantee that work either, mate. It's just
$1 million each.
Aye, but it's not an exact science. You just don't know. You're saying we'll get 2 out of the 4. You might get none out of 4. You might get 1 out of 4. You might get 4 out of 4. You just don't know. It's not an exact science. So it's not that if I spend 4 million on 4 players, I'll get 2 of them to be good. It's not going to work that way, mate. It's just no. It's I don't know. I think we're doing it right at the moment anyway. I really do. We're not spending any money. We're not getting into deeper in debt. We're starting to control our budget. We're starting to bring the club back into line, and we're starting to move forward as a football club, and definitely the team's starting to move forward. Is it there yet? No, it's not there yet, but it's moving in the right direction. And we're out this window and signed a Ramsey or something like that. No, some stupid signing that we want to just put a name in the team. The days should be well and truly over, mate. Buying players that are done, they're burnt out, the best days are behind them, but they've still got a wee bit of a name and we're signing them. It's not on. It's just not on anymore. That's the sort of money that's getting wasted that James was talking about. Just thrown away. Matondo, another example, £35,000 a week, 25,000, whatever he's on. Whatever it's on, it's too much. I know that. Dowell, another one. And it goes on. Roof, another one. Roof's a great player, but in the stand, he's not a great player. As any other player that sits in the stand is not a great player. So you've got to watch what we're doing, mate. And we've got the FFP to contend with. Don't ever forget about that. That's still hanging there. It's still need to be sorted out. I don't know how long that lasts. I think Alec will be able to tell you that better than I would. I don't know how long you stay under that banner. But at the end of the day, we've still got to manage that. It's another hindrance on Clement. It wasn't his making, but he's got to manage it. He play his part in the management of the FFP situation. So there you go. It's just one of the things, mate. Another carry on. But the young players we've got at the moment, I've got all the confidence in the world in them. Cortez, as I say, the rest of this season and the start of the 6th month of the next season. This has basically he'll tell you everything you want to know about this boy and Danilo and Sterling. Sterling needs to start coming to his work on a more regular basis than he's doing at the moment. No arguing the ability of these 3 players. I like these 3 players. But at the end of the day, they're good to us if they're sitting in treatment tables and sitting in stands or sitting in the house watching the game that we're doing.
Yeah. Can I just say that? Can I say something there? Yeah. Like, if I was the manager, I would say to the English players, right, you come to Scotland, okay? we know you want to go back to where you live, unless you really love Scotland. So what we'll give you is a 2-year deal with an option of an extension for 1 year. And then if after a year they win us a league and they're not too happy, we're going to sell you. Good luck to your next job. You know what I mean? It's no rocket science, but giving them 4 or 5 years, we gave to Tavernier. Okay, Tavernier's playing a bit better, but you know, like I think at least he's playing a bit better anyway. And but I would just Old Bear's right. Like some people, it's their families, they might not like it. Colombians might not like Scotland, the weather. Brazilians, I understand that, but the other team in the city seem to bring Japanese, and they've got a much better record than us, scoring goals. They got 1 or 2 doing well, but they've got a better record than us at hitting it hard instead of taking so long. I would say that.
One
You
man who
think,
does like Brazilians,
James-
we'll just cut across Shelby, sorry mate, is we've been joined by Bob Gia. Evening,
Hi,
Bob Gia.
good evening, lads. How you doing?
Not
I've
bad,
been
pal.
listening
What's
to
your
the
thoughts
I've
tonight?
been listening to the conversation tonight, and some great points you're making. I'm with you all the way, Old Bear. I think we're just going to have to be patient with the transformation of the club, because we've seen the biggest transfer window as well. Yes, Cherny is an example. I've seen the day with the club where they just last out the money and go to the boy. You can't do that now. Rangers are a club that's got to tread carefully financially and has been for a long time. But there is a marked improvement, I think. As long as he keeps going the way he's going and bringing, it's no the first time a club spent a hell of a money on a player and it's not worked out. I've just got to try and get the right people in and get the balance of the team right. And I think we're on our way to doing that. 6 weeks ago, everybody wanted Clement out the door. Well, if that had happened, we'd have been struggling with another manager and who greeting at a board for money that they've no got. So we just stuck with the status quo, and I think there is a radical improvement. And then when you see the results, so we got to a final, we got done out it. I don't care what anybody says. We're still in the Scottish Cup. The league, to me, has gone. But we're about to do something no bad in Europe, I think. So all's no loss. It's all about next year and getting the right people in and going for it in the league next year. They must see an improvement in this league. Can I say 13, 14, 15 points behind them in a league? We've got to compete with them. It's only us that can compete with them. So, hey-ho. So we'll see you the rest of the season and see what it brings.
Aye, you're right, Bob Gia. I think it is now, I mean, the window's shut. The squad we've got is going to be the squad that sees through to the end of the season. It's now down to the players to go and show what they can do between now and then and basically make a claim for next season that they're going to be the team that take us forward. Albert, you were going to come back in there, mate. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I can't remember what I was going to say. Just get a text there from Big Alex saying it's 3 years that FFP. You've got to prove that your plan is sustainable, and you're not going to overstep the mark with your finances. So it's 3 years. I don't know if we've done any of the years or it's 3 years for this year, but it's 3 years anyway for the FFP. So we've got to be very careful with that, guys. We can't let that get out of control again. And we've got to. There's a set of rules, a set of structure that we need to stay within, brackets that we need to stay within, and you can build a good team for that, mate. Don't think for a minute you can't. We have to go out and spend hundreds of millions of pounds to build a team. It's nonsense, mate. If you want any confirmation of that, just look at Manchester City. 1 minute they're all high, no, unbeatable, or this, that, or the next thing. Look at them now. Total and utter shambles. It happens, mate. It happens. There's no team in the world lasts forever. None. So the limited success that we'll go to now will increase to a lot better return. We'll definitely get a better return, mate. There's no doubt about it. As we keep saying, apples will grow again, and it's a cert. It's a cert, mate. So I'm enjoying it, and I'm enjoying some of these young players. I don't know how you are feeling, but I really am enjoying watching some of these young players. I know Igaman's a stick out, but I like Jeffy as well. I like Diamondi at times. I think he's mental at times, but I still enjoy watching him play football. And enjoy watching Daniel playing football when he's on the park. Cortez, I think, is going to be a cracking player if he can keep fit, and it's a big if. But You're hoping the guy is going to keep good health and come back into the team and play and show you what he's got. So there's certain players that are fantastic. Wee Barn gives his all. I mean, you can't say you don't like Wee Barn. The boy Rice is starting to show now that he is a bit of a player, and he's going to get better and better and better. His experience, he gets more experience. So, I don't know about yourselves, but I'm enjoying it. I'm seeing improvement, and I'm enjoying it.
Can I come in there?
There you go, Bob. Yeah.
I'm absolutely loving watching his centre half that's in Ciala. I really am. I think he's a really good player, and his passing range is brilliant. And I know that exactly teams like Ross County aren't going to put him under undue pressure, but I think the boy's got it to be a really good player. Same with the Maldini dynasty at AC Milan, they weren't too chuffed at him coming here. They wanted him to stay there. But you can see why they wanted him to stay there. He's a really good player, the boy. He's another addition to the squad. And one day that squad will mature. I'm hoping that it'll mature and it'll click, and then we can go for it and try and wrestle that league back off of them that I've had for far too long. Since he's went on far too long, we've got to put a stop to it. And as I say, we're the only club that can put a stop to it. But yeah, there's a lot of hope there. A lot of good young players. Let's hope they can mature into a good side. But like Robert says there, it's not every boy that comes here and looks about himself after 2 or 3 games and goes, nah, I've regretted this, I need out of here. Well, we need them out of here and all. We're only wanting people that are wanting to play for the club and do what's best for the club. So all these treatment table, wage, I don't know what the word is, wage snatchers, if you want to put it that way. Well, I'm afraid that'll need to go to the club. Everything for the good of the finance set. Because we've not got the finance anywhere, and it might turn out to be a good thing in the long run. Let's hope so. But
the good thing I know,
we're going to Europe.
Bob Jill, the good thing about it as well, see they letting Salah, Igaman, Diamondi, Cortez, Barn, and all these young players, and Rice, Curtis, and all these young players. Other young players throughout Europe are looking at that and saying, "Go to Rangers, you get a chance at Rangers. If you show you're good, they'll put you in. They'll give you and not just in the wee Diddy games. They'll give you a chance in Europe. They'll play you. So that's a good advert, and that in itself should attract a lot of a good calibre young player to the club. And I think that's what Cotton's actually hoping for.
Look at Eager Monday. Look at the money that laddie can fetch us. Obviously, we're wanting him on the park playing for Rangers, scoring goals and winning trophies. Aye, obviously, but we all know in our hearts the laddie's not going to be here forever. He can see the bigger horizon. His fortune's playing, making his fortune playing football. But while he's here, let's hope we can get the best of him. And like you were saying earlier on, he's not happy in that withdrawn position at the back of Dessers. Let's hope we can get that sorted out. But that's another issue. But we've got a jewel there in Igamandi that can get the club, get the club's finances up a bit. And you might have another one in another 2 or 3, another jewel. So we'll see what happens. And it's a cost-cutting exercise. I know when it would rabbit on about for the next 20 minutes, but we see the amount of money Rangers have wasted. How they like rejects for the Premiership, like Ramsey. You let him take a penalty in that final. I could have done better myself, but that's history. That doesn't matter. But no more rejects for the Premierships costing X amount of money. But that's been well proved that doesn't work. Get the young'uns in and they'll run their hair out for the club. And then we'll see what happens in this league next year. But there's still a Scottish Cup to be won, boys. There's still obstacles in Europe to go. You don't know how far we can go if we tick and play well. I can't believe that Steaua Bucharest were above us after the doing we gave them. But there you go.
I think for that, Bob, you had to look at the fixtures they had. The teams above us, they didn't play teams below 11th, 14th in the way the league fixtures finished. I mean, the 7 above us, we played 4 of them. So it just shows you how tough our fixtures were. And I think that, in my opinion, it's a great achievement that we've qualified automatically. Considering the hand we were dealt with injuries as well. So I think it's a great testament to not just the manager, that he got the tactics and he got the personnel right that we had, but also the players' endeavour to continue that, especially when there was a lot of pressure on the manager and the players to live up to the expectation. But you're right, there is competitions to go and see how far we get in Europe. I mean, I don't know about yourselves, but you look at the 4 teams we could potentially get in the last 16. In my opinion, it's very favourable, especially at home. I don't kind of fear any of them. I'd probably say out the most, Fenerbahce is a tough atmosphere, but we can handle that. We've been to Turkey before, so there's certainly a positive in that sense. I think, as it's always been said, it's the consistency in the league. But now, between now and the end of the season, it has to be shown, especially in that away form. And I'll bring James in.
Yeah, I just want to say a point what Bob just said about Ramsey. Now, imagine if Ramsey scored and then McGregor saved. Ramsey would have been a hero forever. And it's a fine line. If Kent would have scored that goal as well, or a centre-back stopped that cross coming in, we would have won. See the difference we would have had won the Europa League. It would have made a tremendous difference. It was so unfortunate we lost. It was a tragedy. But yeah, I agree that we've got to watch our money and just make sure we buy the right players and make sure we've got a good solid defence, a good spine of the team, so we can go forward. I just think we've got to make sure when we go to these grounds like Motherwell, Kilmarnock, Dundee, any away, that we're ready for the fight. And some of them are not ready for the fight. And that's the thing. You've got to be ready to go and hammer them. We need physical players. And have a big battering ram of us. Even the 4th striker, a big guy, can hammer those centre-backs around. And I think it's good that we play 2 up front, a bit more like even the number 10s moving up front. We don't need to have one guy all the time that Dessers on his own. We'll have 2 of them. Makes an awful difference. I'm going to go, guys. Nice talking to you. Are you going to have your event again? Not that I can come, but your event, your charity thing. Remember your charity?
Yeah, the best man for that is Ox, mate. Ask him. He's the brains behind all this. He'll let you know. But thanks for joining us, James. Always appreciate your call.
Thank you very much, and did a good job ahead in the session. Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Take care, James.
Bye now. Bye.
GB, it is that away form that we will look, obviously, to try and improve on. Obviously, our next away game will be away to Tynecastle. Not this Sunday. We've obviously at Queen's Park in the quarterfinals of the Scottish Cup. With obviously the chance to get into the semi-finals, back to the National Stadium. But after that, it is obviously an away game at Tynecastle, which it won't be an easy feat, as we know. But that will be the all eyes on that again because it's an away game.
Aye, yep, and that's where we're in a kind of lucky position, Robert. I think for the rest of the season that the players will go the time to understand the league, to bed in, to get the consistency that we're looking for. I mean, as much as Albert's saying about it's not over till it's over, we obviously need to turn up in every match and try and win it. But we've kind of put ourselves in a position where that it would take some amount of feet that we're actually getting and win the title. My think for the rest of the season, as long as we can show a bit of consistency, as long as we can stand up and match them, then and we get as far as we can in Europe, then that's progression for me. But it's next season all for me, Robert. This summer transfer window and what we're going to do for come on. That's what I want to see. I want to see actions come into the summer, and I want to see this is our kind of the rest of this season has got to be the free hit really for the players and see how they get on, because the excuses for me, Robert, next season, the Diamandis and Yefty having sometimes a switch off, or a John Suter having a bomb scare, or Jack Butland coming out and smashing a defender. All the excuses get left in this season. Next season, they know what to expect. They know what to expect at Kilmarnock. They know what to expect at Ross County away. They know what to expect at Tynecastle. So they're in a lucky position that they might get a chance to bed in this season. But next season, like I said, I don't want any more excuses. I want to see a team go out there and get a proper shot.
Albert, as we sit here, we've got, as I say, the quarter-final of the Scottish Cup, last 16 of Europe. What do you think the objective comes now for the rest of the season? GB saying that obviously close the gap in the league, do well in Europe, and that's progression. What for you, Albert, is the objective between now and the end of the season, come May?
Win every game. Simple. Win every game. Every game you can. Every game we begin to win. See where that takes you. But the cup games are the cup games are the cup games. You've got to win the other games to win the cup anyway. So that's a given, that one. The European one, just keep going. Just keep going and see where we get to. There's no pressure on us in Europe at all. We've proved that we're a good team in Europe. So, and we've been to 2 finals in recent times, 2008, 2021, 20. So we're back. So just keep going. The league is no done till it's done. That's why I see it anyway. Because if you say it's done now and the players get that into their head, they'll it's the human nature. They'll pull off 10%, 15% in their performances. You don't allow them to do that. And if you're going to prepare for next season, what GB's saying, you've got to win this season every as many games as you possibly can, especially in the league. You've got to win the cup games as a matter of fact anyway. So win every game, mate. It's as simple as that. And let's see where we end up. Certainly you'll be surprised where you end up if you just keep your concentrating on the next game. Next game's Queen's Park. Let's do that one. Then we'll worry about Hearts, and the Hearts game's there. It's not there yet, so it's Queen's Park. What if that takes you into the quarters or the semis?
Semi-finals, mate, after a winning Sunday.
Right, so concentrating on that. Full concentrating on this game, and so on and so on and so on. It's all cliches. It's all cliches, man. It's been said and done before. But the work if you get your head right, the work if your team all pulls together the one way, the work of all the support, start supporting them to lift cups and lift leagues. It can be done, man. It can be done. I don't see any negatives now. I really don't. I just see the club starting to get stabilised and move forward. It might be baby steps at the moment, but they're definitely moving forward. No doubt about it. So that's the objectives I see, mate.
Bob Jer, obviously the European game isn't away till March, so there's a good time to get the boys that are carrying knocks some recovery time. Obviously, come this week, I dare say there might be a few rotations within the squad. I think you'll still play a strong squad, but certainly some players. But the likes of John Suter coming back, a positive. Danilo, I'd imagine, will be not far away from fitness as well. So there's certainly players coming back, and it's going to be a big turning point in the season, I think, in terms of momentum and consistency for us. I know the gap in the title race is there to see. We can all see it with our own eyes, but as Albert says, that the pressure there becomes you've got to go and win every game and just keep pushing as far as we can and see where it takes us.
Right, absolutely. I'm glad to see that this period at the moment that we've got the 3 week. Well, everybody's got a 3 week this week, but especially next week, we haven't got any pain in the you know what playoffs. That's usually the way it lands for Rangers. It's still landed for us this time. We've got another 3 week off, as you say, where you get people back, get people that are carrying knocks, get them fit again, get the squad inflated towards the end of the season and what we've got coming up. I agree with Albert, it can be done, absolutely. And I didn't make it sound as though I'm gearing into them. I'd never gear into them. I never have done it all my life. But I'm only being practical about it. I think a lot of people are. But it's all about next season. Get a good squad, get it together, and let's go for it. Hell for leather, hell on the way next year. Win the games and make it a competition next year. Because you see, I mean, we form away from home. It's been nothing short of atrocious for Rangers. And it's got to improve. We know what we're up against at all these places, like you just said. So we'll come out next year, tally the points up, got a good lead in this league, and then head towards the spring winning the league again. I'd love to see that. Wishful thinking, but I'd love to see it again. And it can be done.
No, you're right, Bob. I think it can be done, and I'm kind of with yourself and Albert about the team. I know GB wants to kind of add some experience in there, and he's not sure about the kind of the young players route. But for me, I think as long as we can keep this team together, there's been signs of improvement in individuals. At times, there's been improvements in the games. Okay, the away form still needs to be addressed, and we're starting to kind of show that we can do it. And it should be the case that we can go to these away grounds and dominate. I mean, we are Rangers after all. We should be going to Tannadice, Tynecastle, Easter Road and winning comfortably.
Aye.
There's been times this season where we've had, again, a short hand with injuries and suspensions and VAR going against us. But if we keep this squad, the way they progress, I think the chemistry comes, the cohesion comes, and it all kind of clicks together. I know there's some supporters out there that their minds are made up on Clermont. Other ones are backing them. You're always going to have a split divide, especially when results go against you. But there is a large number out there who are still behind the manager. I know times have been tough, that we've seen results, St Mirren away, Motherwell away, where we thought that was maybe the end of his tenure as a Rangers manager. But there's a far majority out there, I'd say, that are still in support of Clermont. Oh, GB?
I'm kind of like, if Clermont had the team that he wanted, then I would probably still be one of the ones that would be shouting to get him out the door because he's away from. But what I say is, the stuff that's went on in the last 4 or 5 months, with injuries, the way the clubs approached him and said to him what's going to happen behind the scenes with transfer windows and what's happening with the B team and all the rest of it, all the stuff that he's had to put up with. And like I say, he's still been able to build a team there that was able to go and beat the so-called best team in the world at New Year there. So, like I say, I just think if we allow this man to, like you're saying, Robert, keep that core together, it's vital. Like it says, we don't sell any of these players that are actually performing for us. We've got to keep this team going into summer. And then we've got to just add, like I says, I think it's the experience now he's needing. And I'm not talking about like a 28-year-old £9 million signing. I'm talking about somebody maybe 24, 25 who's got a bit of experience behind them about playing in hard leagues. Maybe got a bit of European experience, international maybe. I mean, I just hope we can add like 1 or 2 of the kind of guys into the team, and then that will just give us a wee bit of strength and depth. Because as Albert says, the young boys will take care of itself. They proved at the weekend that they can do it. They can see out a 3-0 result, no problem. That says the young boys were sitting in second gear at the weekend in that second half. As much as we probably should have went on and got more goals, again, I'm not bored about that. Winning a league is about just seeing at the games and getting wins on the board. And that's what we need to get better at. We just have to, what it says, blow teams away in that first half. They across the city used to do it all the time. Blow teams away in the first half, and then they would rest all their good players in the second half, and they would put on all the average players. And that's what we need to get better at, because we know there's some of them in this squad that are not that robust. Like say maybe a Cortez, we get him back fit, he'll be flying in the first half, get his either assists or goals, get him off in the second half, rest him, go again the next game because it'll be Europe or whatever. We just, like I says, I just hope that he gets the time to do it, and I just hope that, like I says, the board have got a proper plan in place that's just not going to be scrimping, scraping constantly, because you can only do that so much. Like I say, we've seen it with boys that just need a bit of time. Eggman that came in there in the summer, he needed, 3-4 months before we actually started to see the best of him. And even now, he's good, but he's no mad clinical. I mean, and again, I think we're just in the summer transfer window, we're just needing to get a wee bit of experience in and help the man put a proper title challenge there. And like you say, Robert, after that, then you'll maybe have the support, having a better understanding, because we backed Stevie G, we allowed him the 2 seasons, we could see progress, and this is what Clermont's got to do. He's just got to show us the rest of the season that he can get a bit of consistency and hopefully get another wee bit of silverware in the Scottish Cup.
Bob J, what's your take on the kind of route we're going down with the transfers, it's obviously a young squad we're building. I'm assuming you're happy with it based on the fact you were agreeing with Albert.
Yeah, aye. Like I say, well, that's like, you know, I mean, but look at Igamani, look at Inshallah, you go to the young centre half there, he's a big boy, isn't he? The big Portuguese laddie, and I could develop into a really good player, you never know, but the way things are going, it's better than it was, as I said 5 or 6 weeks ago, when we were howling, a lot of them were howling for a manager's head, and howling to get this one out the door and that out the door and the next thing. Everything was doom and gloom. But now I think there's a wee bit of an upward trajectory in it. And let's hope it keeps on going onwards and upwards, as they say. And I'm sure it will. We've got a good manager. He's proved it where he's been the man. And I dare say we're going to have a good team. 1 or 2 signings in the right places, and we'll be a steady side next year. We'll be very hard to beat. And we'll make that league a competition, something that's no been for the last couple of years. Didn't forget there were times there the last 4 or 5 years we could have and should have won the league. Ross County and Motherwell. You mind of that episode? That was only last year. So we can get back into that position again where we're above them, gone, looking for to get the points for to win the league. I certainly hope that happens again. I'm sure it will.
Oh, but just kind of touching on the Clermont, obviously, I know you're a fan of the way it's gone down. If it were to ever be relieved of his duties, obviously, between now and the summer, for me, it kind of puts us back to square one again. I'm myself and Bob's, as I said, the progression that what we're going down and building as a squad, that it will turn around. Again, as I said, I'll hold my hands up and say that at times during seasons, as this season in particular, there's been a lot of frustration, and you think that could be it. It could be finished. But I think the European progression has certainly helped his position and maybe relieved that bit of pressure that he was certainly under.
I mean, he was doing well in Europe, and his home form was crap. And he never go to the League Cup final and get cheated out of, in the Scottish Cup final last year and get cheated out of. So it's if he doesn't do any of that, he's out the door. He's gone. He's ta-ta, cheerio, he's away. So he's done all. He's reached every final he's played in domestically. He's came a hair's breadth away to last season for winning the league. He's in the cup final this year again. He's got in the last 8 a new European format in UEFA, and he's lost 2 points at home all season up to now, 19 or whatever games it is, how many games it is. So you look at all that and say, the guy's doing a great job on the backdrop of what's happened in the background. Look, no CEO, no this, no that, no next thing, no pitch to play, and all this nonsense. So you look at it, and if you're a fair-minded person, you weigh it up and say to yourself, the guy's done okay. He's doing okay. Can he do better? Of course he can. Of course he can. Can the team do better? Of course they can. We're not settling for this as the finished article. Far from it. We're wanting to push on now. But you've got to admit you can see it moving forward now. We're not stale anymore. And this window, as I said before, this window proved to me that the club is under control again. It's back in control of its own destiny. It's no run about throwing stupid money at silly players that we shouldn't never bring in, spending fortunes on garbage. Now we're actually saying, right, hold on, we've got a plan here. We've put a plan together and we're sticking to this. And we've got a way of doing it. And so far, so good. Because the young players have got there. You cannot say, there must be, at least 6, 8 young players within the first team squad now that are pretty exciting. Or you got to admit that, they're pretty exciting. And as time goes by, they'll develop right into the team, be the backbone of the team. And then it's every season, you're only buying 2 players, 1 player of decent quality to bring in, enhance your team. Instead of this 16 players out and 12 in, 28 player turnovers and nonsense like that. That format is disaster, mate. You're never going to get anywhere keeping doing that. Sack managers and all that. That's all got to stop, mate. And I think now the club has actually realised that. And the sounds coming out of the club tell you that. And what they've done this window has proved a point to everybody. He said there might be 1, there might be 2 coming in. 1 come in on loan, 1 was signed for next season. That'll do me, mate. He said he said he'd do it. He done it. So they're no promising anything. They're not coming out with big, wild, stupid statements and then can he back it up? You know what I mean? So anyway.
Well, we've reached that time of the evening. Last word from your good self, Bob Gia.
Oh, great discussion tonight. Great discussion tonight. And well put there, Old Bear. Well put. I think that exactly sums the whole situation up with the club. That we've learned all the lessons for the past, flinging money at nonsense. Not going to exemplify it, or you know it. But onwards and upwards, as I say, we're a young team that will get bigger, that'll get stronger, and it'll get better. With a few young additions, it'll get even better. So, thanks for having me tonight again, guys, on this cold Tuesday night. And I'm away, get the jacket on, get the dog out. Thank you very much, lads.
See you later,
Cheers,
mate.
Bob Gia. Always good to hear from you. Oh, Bear, last word for yourself, mate.
Aye, good being on yourself and GB. Enjoyed that, mate. That was a good conversation. Time flew the night. Just shows you're enjoying yourself anyway. Aye, so onward and upward, as Bob Gia says. On to Glasgow Rangers.
Cheers, mate. GB, last word from yourself, pal.
Aye, brilliant tonight, Robert. Good conversation. Just to echo what the boys are saying there. Like I says, it's we all want the best, and like I says, it's just time to get right behind this team now. We've got a lot still to play for, and like I says, let's back the man who's stood by us. Like I says, been a critic of him, but the big man stood by us, and he's done a fantastic job in these European competitions and stuff like that. We just have to give him a wee bit of back now. So, like I says, enjoy the rest of the week, boys, and thanks very much for having me on.
Cheers, mate. Can I just say a thank you to all the ones out there listening on Facebook, YouTube. Thanks to James and Bob Gia for joining us. All Bear and GB for doing the show. And of course, the Techie Boys, Fox and Old School Blue. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night from 8 PM talking about all things Rangers. Take it away, Foxy Boy.